Hey Moon Magic family, Moon Magic Super Souls, welcome back to the channel. I hope you are all doing completely amazingly. Now, welcome to your Moon Month update. I'm going to be doing Archangel Michael readings for all zodiac signs as well. And this is the Moon Month that takes us into January 2024. We're moving to a new year. And the dynamics of this moon month, we begin with a Sagittarian new moon that is like, it is so ultra positive, it's untrue. So if you were going to choose just 1 month of the year to set really big wishes and intentions, I'd be doing it on this one. And the whole overall dynamics of January are really inviting us to kind of, it's almost like we set the energetic pace for the year. So what we do right now is really going to have an impact on the whole year to come. So without further ado, I'm going to dive straight into the cards and the runes that were drawn in the Manifest with the Moon Astro-Moon diary, and we'll look at those for the coming moon month. And then I will do the all zodiac sign readings, the Archangel Michael readings, and then I'm going to give you a complete and utter rundown of the whole flow of energy, the lunar energy for the entire moon month. So you might want a pen and paper handy just to check in on that. And if you are already working with the diary or the journal, you will be able to just check in on these details anyway. Manifesting with the moon is just such an amazing thing to do. I think it really helps you to learn to listen to yourself. It develops your intuition. It's for me anyway, it's been a really magical thing to do in my world. And I'm loving that I'm getting to share this with you guys. So let's shift the camera down and look at those cards and those runes. So these are the cards and the runes that were drawn in the Manifest with the Moon Astro-Moon diaries for 2023 and 2024. This is the flow of energy as we move from December into January and a new year. And I just feel that they really, really sum up the overall energy of the moon month. With Gateway, this is Thurisaz, the rune of Thurisaz, there's an opportunity to slow down and kind of pause and kind of get in touch with the, what I want to say, the everyday ordinariness, like the brilliance of being, it's like living an ordinary life in an extraordinary way. That's what I really want to say. We have a Mercury in retrograde period during this moon month, and I think it's fascinating because the overall energy is just so positive and so energetic and so dynamic in terms of creating new beginnings. So it's a really powerful time associated not only around the solstice, where we have a turning point energetically in the Earth's calendar, but we also have energy that is moving us forwards, that natural shift in our calendar where we review. And I think the Mercury in retrograde energy is really supportive of us actually in this. Now, I know we associate Mercury in retrograde with things going wrong and all sorts of hiccups and, you know, roadblocks along the way. But the purpose of it, like the higher purpose, is to slow down, to remember that life isn't always about walking in a straight line as fast as we possibly can so we get from A to B, we achieve our goals. It's about the journey. And Mercury in retrograde really brings that home to us. So I feel with this Thurisaz rune of Gateway, which asks us to press the pause button before proceeding, to review, to evaluate, to get grounded, and also to lean into a space of profound gratitude for literally where you are. Even if you've had a really tough 2023, and I know many of you have, if things have been really quite hard work, lean into that space of appreciation for the learning. Pat yourself on the back for being where you are right now, because you are brilliant. Whatever you've managed, you've overcome, you've persevered with, you've done it. I mean, how amazing are you? And this is actually preparing a space of growth for you for the coming year of 2024. Berkana speaks of a whole new phase of growth, new beginnings, and in this coming year you can become what you believe. You can step up, you can integrate all the learning from 2023 and take this forwards, become your own personal hero or heroine and step into the very best version of yourself, radiating authenticity into the world. This is the energy of now as we end 2023 and we move into 2024. We have the rune of fertility, Ingers. This is an amazing rune. It speaks of completions so that we can then move forwards into new beginnings. It could not be better drawn for the end of one year and the beginning of a new. But it's promising fertility. It is promising growth. And Berkana shows up again, the rune of growth. So I think we're going to see a very significant shift in the energy. There's a kind of an opportunity for reflection, for review, to get still and really, really listen, like listen to the voice of your soul. And from that position, set your intentions, your wishes, your desires, not just for this moon month, but for the coming year. The whole of January, energetically, from an astrological perspective or from a lunar perspective, which is really my personal interest, it's like we're setting the pace for the entire year. So what you lean into at this point in time is going to sort of follow through for you. It's going to be manifesting. So getting still and really identifying who you want to be and what you want to achieve and what you want to manifest in the coming year, it's like it's a really, really worthwhile investment of your time. And then as we move into January, there will be opportunity to take action, to initiate things, to sow seeds, to put things out there in anticipation of where you hope to be going and what you are aiming to manifest in this coming year of 2024. Beautiful souls, I think this is a moon month of profound importance and value to us. If you're passionate about manifesting, which I am, particularly passionate about manifesting with the moon, this is a moon month when we can really, really set the pace for the coming year. So I'm excited, mega excited. I think now is the time to start doing the Archangel Michael readings for every zodiac sign. My bigger readings, as always, are on Patreon, and I will mention those as we do the Archangel Michael readings for anyone that is interested. Beautiful souls, let's move forwards, and at the end of the Archangel Michael readings, I will do the entire moon month update with the energy flow coming in, so you can really lean into that. You might want a pen and paper just to make notes, or indeed if you're already using the Manifest with the Moon diary, you'll find all the information is in there as well for every single month. Beautiful souls, I'm sending you tons of love. Let's get into the Archangel Michael readings. Hello Aries, let's have a look and see what Archangel Michael has to say for you. Detach from the situation. You have created this situation and you have the power to change it. Archangel Michael, ask Archangel Michael to help you with this situation. Focus upon divine and perfect health. This feels like you have a dilemma around you, which is really, really interesting, because in the main readings on Patreon, what I see is that there is something kind of right in front of you that you will evaluate and then actually kind of come to a point where you can make a commitment to it. May we ask what else we are shown with the Archangel Michael cards as well, please? This is your life purpose. Yes, I think you're going to make a commitment to something during this moon month. Have a sense of humour. I think that something will come to your attention, lovely Aries, during this moon month. But because we're in this sort of Mercury retrograde energy, it's highly likely that it will come to your attention in a way that is possibly somewhat disruptive or not as you would have expected. So you're kind of not going down the road that you thought you were going to go down, but you are going down the right road, actually. Yeah, decide to be happy now. I do. I think you actually, I think you might get yourself into more of a tangle than is necessary. That's what I think during this moon month, Aries. Look at runes for you. You have the pathway of wholeness. This is Sewello, the rune of the spiritual warrior, and then you have the rune, the gateway rune as well. Okay, this is the path you must follow. This is about being discerning, taking action, making it happen. But there's a fascinating energy around you, Aries, this moon month. I kind of feel on the one hand, things might go a bit, I don't know, they might be a bit disruptive or not go to plan. But you know, the strange thing is that they are going to plan. They're going to plan according to the higher plan. They're going to plan according to the higher purpose. This is what I'm really seeing for you, my lovely Aries. So don't get drawn into that sort of sense, that humanness, where what I would call the human, you know, I'm on this pathway and this is the way I want to go. I think that with the Mercury retrograde energy, because Mercury in retrograde really brings an opportunity sometimes to press the pause button, review and do it differently, which is what the rune of Gateway is all about. Pressing the pause button, evaluating, and then stepping through the gateway into a new period of time, a new chapter of something. So I actually think you're going to be given in this moon month, so this is December into January, I think you're going to be given a circumstance where you need to make a choice and a decision, a commitment to something, a commitment to a certain pathway. But what I do think is it might not be exactly the way that you thought it would be. And you're being asked to be a little bit flexible, to step away from this, because you're not without agency here. In fact, far from it. I think you're going to have very clear choices available to you. I think the problem is it might just come in a bit of a disruptive fashion. So focus upon divine and perfect health. Look after you. Look after, this is one of those moon months when I think those periods of time when you need to be in many ways quite decisive but simultaneously reflective. I mean, really in many ways the best decisions we ever make are based on reflective awareness, I think. So don't be rushing to make choices, but when the time is right, don't be afraid not to, if that makes sense. And have a chuckle if things aren't running smoothly. This is a kind of a scenario where there's a bigger picture involved. This is your life purpose. There's a bigger picture involved here for you, Aries. You're being offered a gateway through to a new phase in life that's leading you down the road of your purpose. So you're needing to detach from the emotionality of this, almost a sort of, rather than getting het up about the disruption, because I think there might be some disruption for you, my lovely Aries. Laugh about it, decide to be happy, and kind of trust that you really are going to be given an opportunity here. I think there is a pathway for you to follow in January, a particular pathway, Aries. It may not be exactly the one that you thought. It may be a completely different route, but it's actually leading you in the direction that you are absolutely meant to be going at this moment in time. This is a moon month to almost really get yourself centered in the higher vibration of Mercury in retrograde. And the higher vibration is to allow things to unfold and evaluate and use the time in a really powerfully positive way. Know that if something is disrupted, it's because there's something you need to see. So just detach from anything that feels like it's negative and sort of like rise above it. Decide to be happy, have a jolly good old giggle about what's going on, and then look at what gateway is this opening for you, my beautiful souls. I think it's going to be a really, really interesting month for you, Aries, because I think it sets your direction for the coming year. And that's the energy of January, is really about finding clarity of direction and creating with intention, creating a foundation for the whole year, literally 2024. Lovely Aries. I think this is your reading. I think you will need to make a clear choice on something, and it will create that direction for the coming year. There's definitely really only one way to go here, so just have a jolly good laugh if there is disruption and sort of almost enjoy it. Decide to be happy, focus upon that higher vibrational energy, and recognize that whatever is going on, you're going to be making some sort of a a clear choice, a commitment to something that will enable you to move forwards in the direction of your purpose. And I would sort of almost localize that to your purpose for the year of 2024. And that's pretty fab, beautiful Aries, it really is. Super souls, this is your reading. Thank you so much for joining me, and do like, share, subscribe if you'd like to get notification of all of the other bigger readings that I do here on YouTube. And if you're interested in my big all zodiac sign readings for all signs, they are on Patreon. The reason they're on a different platform is because my Patreon people, it's another community and it works on donations. And my Patreon people donate, and you can give as little or as much as you want. There's no limitations on the smallest of the amount or the largest, but all of those donations actually help me to keep my free online library going. So it's there as a resource for anyone who wishes to use it at any time. And, you know, also, that Patreon also really does help me to just keep on putting free stuff into the world, full stop. So I do my zodiac sign readings over there as a thank you to those people who are in that community and really do support me ongoing. And if any of you are watching this, thank you, beautiful souls, from the bottom of my heart. So that's why my zodiac sign readings, my bigger ones, are over there. And you are very welcome to check them out if you wish. And it is a lovely community. I do a tutorial over there every month as well. Beautiful souls. Have an amazing moon month, Aries. Hey, lovely Tauruses, let's see what messages are coming through for you for the coming moon month. You have energy healing work. Prayer will help this situation. You have forgive yourself, you've done nothing wrong, and guarded and protected. Wow. Okay. Now, I know that we are entering a Mercury retrograde period. You guys will know that as well if you're following the astrology and looking at the moon months and these sorts of things. Now, things can go astray when we are in a Mercury in retrograde period. Taurus is having done your bigger readings on Patreon, which is where I do my bigger readings. It's my way of saying thank you to my Patreon community who make donations that keep my library in a space where it's free of charge for anyone who needs to use it. So many thanks, Patreon folk. That's where I do my bigger readings. Now, I do know that what we were being shown was that you were course correcting, my lovely Tauruses. This is suggesting that something will suddenly possibly not run smoothly. What this is also saying is that you're kind of potentially going to give yourself a hard time, okay, because it didn't run smoothly. You haven't done anything wrong. There's a bigger picture here. Prayer will help this situation, energy healing. There's something that's not right in the energetic flow of something you're doing. It isn't that you've done anything wrong. The end goal is still as it needs to be, lovely Tauruses. It's just that there needs to be a different approach. Admit the truth and act accordingly to yourself. I think you'll see it. Lean on God and the angels for support. Write about your thoughts and feelings. Self-respect. There is something that you're needing to basically sort of almost feel like for some of you back out of or do differently, but you're in quite a dilemma within yourself about it. You're going to be giving yourselves, or you are giving yourselves, let's say, if this is already around you, you're already giving yourself a really hard time over the fact that you don't want to go through with something or continue on in the direction that it's going. It's completely right for you to course correct here. Whatever anyone else thinks, this is what I'm feeling. This is about the way people are approaching this or seeing you. If you're not getting it right for them, you haven't done anything wrong. Please guide me in releasing my toxic anger or fear towards others. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for allowing me to feel centered and at peace. Everything in your reading, Taurus, is suggesting that energetically something needs to, or you need to, in response to something, be done differently. But I am seeing a kind of a degree of you giving yourself a very hard time, or perceiving yourself as being in the wrong because it hasn't run smoothly, rather than seeing it from that higher vibrational perspective where we recognize that if something doesn't run smoothly, or doesn't, let's say it doesn't go to plan, it's not because it's completely wrong or that you've done something wrong. It's because something needs to be evaluated. And this is what we're seeing here, lovely Tauruses. Let's draw you some runes. This is the higher vibrational connection with Mercury in retrograde. We can look at it as being a right pain in the arse because everything is coming to a standstill or it's not flowing smoothly. But if you recognize there's a bigger picture and there's some really valuable information here, then pausing and reflecting will mean you come back out and you're moving then in the right direction with full throttle, because everything is happening as it should. The energy has shifted. Something needs to be done differently. Your first rune, we have the rune of Gateway. This came out in the bigger reading. We have the rune of Perth, initiation. Yes. We have Fehu, the rune of nourishment and possessions. This is ambition satisfied. And we have Suelo, the rune of wholeness. Your reading could not be clearer. You need to pause and really admit the truth to yourself. Look at this with real eyes and recognize what is working and what isn't. Don't panic about it. There is guidance and assistance around you. The reason something is feeling a little bit heavy going is because it genuinely isn't exactly the way it should be going. It's not the end goal you're going to get to. I don't think the end goal changes, but the way in which you go about it does. We have the rune of initiation, Perth. This is a rite of passage for you. And the rite of passage is not just the actual circumstances whereby you change course and go about it differently. And there's only one pathway to follow. So the route should become very, very obvious to you. Once you stop and really acknowledge what isn't working, it will help you to identify what will work and how to do it differently. So it's not that you're on the wrong path. It's about shifting and changing. And I think for some of you, it's about shifting and changing so that you're not just being compliant with somebody else's wishes. And what we're seeing here is this sort of double layer of growth here, because it's not just the actual situation. The major benefit here is also about you learning to honour your own thoughts and feelings, honour your own intuition and follow it through. So there's a real double layer of growth here. Not only will you in the physical world in some way, shape or form move something forwards in a much clearer, better way, a slightly different route to get to the end goal, as it were. The ultimate goal remains, but there's a different way of doing it. And not only do you achieve that in a real way, but you've also stood up for what you believe, and you have actually found a voice, and regardless of pressures from others, you're actually attending to a pattern whereby I think sometimes you get very, very anxious if you don't kind of do it the way somebody else wants to or wants you to. So there's a double whammy of growth and movement here, which feels really absolutely lovely. Not always easy, I acknowledge, my beautiful Tauruses. Beautiful souls, do keep a check out for all of the readings that I post here on YouTube, because there's loads that answer specific questions, and always weekly guidance on a Sunday that can really assist if you're having a wobble in any way, shape or form at any time. All of the readings are here to assist you, and I mean there's loads of really good readers here on YouTube now, so there's a ton of places you can go to seek advice and guidance at any time. Taurus, thank you for joining me here. Do check out the bigger readings on Patreon if you wish to do so, and you know, have an amazing Christmas, an amazing solstice, an amazing New Year's, and I will see you soon for another reading. Gemini, welcome to your Archangel Michael reading for the coming moon month. Let's see what we are shown for our lovely, lovely Geminis. We have, this situation is already resolved. Lovely. We have spend more time outdoors, let go of fear now, honour and trust your feelings. Okay, how interesting. Lovely Geminis. I've actually done the bigger readings, my big all zodiac sign readings on Patreon already. And this is really validating something that came up, so I'll voice it already. There seems to be, at this time of this moon month, a lot of concern that if you don't sort of follow through with something, you'll get left out in the cold or be rejected. Now this is really saying this situation is already resolved. There was a lot of anxiety with the fear, obligation, guilt, fog. A lot of fog around you. Honour and trust your feelings. Get yourself grounded, Gemini. I sort of feel that the area of concern and anxiety for you is one of those scenarios when I sort of want to say it isn't actually going to happen. Someone told me, it was just a couple of days ago actually, it was a Mark Twain quote, and I think he said, if I remember rightly, I won't get these words completely accurate, but he said, I have experienced hundreds of really difficult situations and none of them actually happened, or none of them were actually real. I mean, he was acknowledging kind of how he tangled his head up in all these what-if scenarios, and that's what he said, and none of them actually happened. And I sort of feel there's something that's quite heavily laden around you with fear, obligation, guilt, around something that you feel if you don't do it, there will be consequences that will be really, really not okay for you. And your reading is really saying it's already sorted. Let go of fear. Honour and trust your feelings. Chill out. Don't worry. I think there's a choice or a decision here to make about almost like letting go of that anxiety, and then, you know, that something can sort of be negotiated or sorted. Let's draw more cards for you, and we'll draw runes as well. May we have more for lovely Geminis. Archangel Michael, please. Okay, I'm saying that one too. We have decide to be happy now. Absolutely. Ditch those fears. Put those fears away. Okay, I just don't think this, it does feel like this is one of those, it's not actually going to happen. Prayer will help this situation. Explore your options and detach from the situation. Yeah, I think you can make some choices and decisions here without the repercussions that you think are going to be here. And this is the real issue here for you, my beautiful Geminis. I think you're feeling as though if you don't do something, you're anticipating the outcome being really, really negative. Everything in your reading is saying, look, this situation is already resolved. Let go of the fear and just try and get yourself a bit more grounded, really. I think maybe your buttons have been pressed here a bit. There's actually a way forward here that can honour what you would like, and actually, you know, not tangle you in something. I think a lot of the tangling at the moment is this anticipation of how it might go wrong, or of what you feel you won't get if you don't follow through with it. Detach from this, step away, go chill, go spend some time outside, just settle yourself down, hand the situation to Archangel Michael through prayer. It's actually already sorted. We have your first rune of fertility. This is a fruit-bearing rune, so it's going to suggest that you will actually get the outcome that you want, lovely Gemini. Yeah, there's something you want to do, a decision to make here, but you're fearful of the consequences or of something escalating or heading off in a bad direction. We have the rune of harvest. You're going to get whatever this is, and fertility, harvest. I mean, these are fabulous runes. These are fruit-bearing runes. Now, the rune of fertility does suggest that completion of beginnings are needed. So I think you may need to do, you know, a conversation may need to be had, or some planning ahead in some way, shape or form. But you can definitely have the outcome you want. Potentially without the worry, actually. Well, if this was like, for example, if you, let's say as we're heading into Christmas, you always spend Christmas with a particular friend, or you invite a friend for Christmas every year, let's say, and this year you've decided you'd like to go away on your dream holiday and you're really worried about it. Well, the outcome already resolved might be that your friend actually phones you up and says, oh, I'm so sorry, I hope I'm not letting you down, but I've got the option to do something else this year, and that's what I really want to do. So, and then you're free to go off and do the thing you wanted anyway, and all that worry, all that fear, all that concern was unnecessary. We then have the rune of Kano, openings, and Berkana, growth. Yet another rune of a fruit-bearing rune. Kano, the rune of openings, suggests that a doorway will be opened for you. So whatever this situation is around you that you feel anxious about, that you're anticipating, that you're going over and over, sort of possibly for some of you a little bit of catastrophizing, an opening will come. It's already resolved. There's a situation that an opening will come. So just detach, explore your options. It's interesting that Kano sits with this card. Let go of fear and explore your options. There are definite ways of opening doorways to doing what you want. Perhaps negotiating. If you, let's use that same analogy of a friend. If you are going to let that friend know that you can't invite them for Christmas this year because you're going to have other plans, actually you could also be putting ahead of time in some plans that say, but could we on this date do XYZ together, because that would be so amazing. So you're putting alternatives in. Either way, I think the outcome is looking fabulous. And then your friend says, you know, I'm so glad you've said that. I was hoping to do something else, but I didn't want to let you down. And you're in that scenario where it's a win-win for everyone. Gemini, honestly, this looks as though it really is a win-win for you. The bigger reading also said the same, with obviously more cards and in a different format, with greater detail. Do check out those readings if they are of interest to you on Patreon. But beautiful souls, truly, I don't think you have anything to worry about. I really, really don't. Lovely Geminis, tons and tons and tons of love. I can't believe you've got the 3 biggest fruit-bearing runes out of all of the runes. I mean, this is amazing. Thank you so much for being here. It's absolutely wonderful to be connected with you here on YouTube. Patreon is where I put my bigger readings, and I place them there because my Patreon folk make monthly donations that help to keep my library, my free library, free for everybody, and it's my way of saying thank you to them. So thank you so much, all of you, for being here on YouTube. If you are watching this and you're also on Patreon, thank you so much. Geminis, have an amazing solstice, an amazing Christmas, an amazing New Year, and I look forward to seeing you for some other readings really soon. I will still be posting my Sunday readings and various things. Even though I am taking a break over Christmas, there'll be still readings coming through, so keep an eye out for those as soon as I post them. Tons and tons of love, Gemini. Hey beautiful Cancers, welcome to your Archangel Michael reading for this month. Now let us see what we are shown for you. Beautiful Cancers, I have done my bigger readings already. Wow, this is so relevant. I've done my bigger readings already on Patreon. This is a platform where people donate monthly, and that really assists me to maintain my free library and all sorts of things that I put into the world for free. So as a way of saying thank you, that's where I do my bigger readings. You're welcome to check them out if you wish. But having done that reading, this is really, really fascinating, because what came through, and I will just voice a little bit of it, was potentially a disruption for you in some way, shape or form, or like a release from something. Basically something comes along to release you, and we have the card now: have confidence, decide to be happy, focus upon divine and perfect health, and spend more time outdoors. There's a real sense here in your reading of needing to have confidence about something working out here. Have confidence that the direction you're seeking is going to be shown to you, my lovely Cancers. You're going to be very clear, I think, by the end of the moon month. Yeah, shield yourself and a favourable outcome. This is fascinating. Your inner guidance is real and trustworthy. Absolutely. So, my lovely Cancers, you're feeling very sensitive, and I feel there is a situation around you that is causing you to have possibly a bit of a wobble, basically. This is really, really affirming to you that you don't need to wobble. If you're try and hold a really, really positive outlook, because we're seeing a favourable outcome. There's something around that you are, what I'm seeing here is you're questioning it. I think you're questioning whether your perspective is correct or not, and it is. There's an affirmation here. There's something I think is not feeling so great. It's probably if something is not feeling balanced, okay, in your world. And you're seriously, I think you've moved into the zone of self-doubt, questioning your own perspectives on this thing. Actually, your inner guidance is definitely real. You're very, very sensitive at the moment. Shield yourself. Archangel Michael, I ask you to protect me, my loved ones, my vehicle and my home with your powerful shield. Surround us in your purple light, which allows only pure love to penetrate. Please stay with me day and night and keep my loved ones safe. And you can name specific people and situations. There's something going on around you, Cancer, that you're feeling a little bit wobbly about, and some of you possibly quite a lot wobbly about it. It's just feeling restricting, or like it's not happening, or it's got a lower vibration around it. Your rune. You have the blank rune. Now this is really interesting because I'm seeing this as a space of possibility. Okay. I think in many ways, one of the things that is happening here, that feels right, yes, placing it here. I think, lovely Cancers, whatever is not feeling quite right, if you consider that it's actually being brought to your attention in order to help you to find a better outcome, to see the direction that you need to go in, then you can sort of see what's happening as a positive. Yeah, you have the rune of constraint. So yes, there's definitely something ongoing around you that is feeling restricting, and it's not moving, or it's tying you down, cramping your style. That's a good way of saying it. And this is calling you to have patience here. It really is feeling like a surrender to the situation. And that's not easy if stuff's going on around you, lovely Cancers, or something just isn't feeling quite right. It's niggling, or it's just... Now, this is a general reading, so it's going to affect you each differently, and you always need to take messages in any reading. Those that resonate, hear those for yourself, and those that don't, they are there for someone else. But I think some of you are in a very restrictive circumstance. Something really isn't feeling okay, and you're really not sure quite how to get out of it or how to move forwards. For others, it may just be a more sort of, I don't know, just an irritation. Something just isn't feeling quite right. But either way, there's a sense of not being able to shift something or change it. Now, I think the shift is coming for you. Have confidence. Favourable outcome. Hagalaz. Now, how interesting. This came out in the bigger reading. Right, so we're seeing a bit more of information here for you. So, lovely Cancers, I think you're going to see a disruption of some sort. Basically, whatever this is going on in this situation that is, for some of you, feeling very big. For others, it's a smaller thing. But either way, something around you is feeling uncomfortable. Let's put it that way. And the change is coming. Hagalaz, the rune of disruption, it so aligns with Mercury in retrograde energy, which is what we have this month. So with the Mercury in retrograde energy, we often get disruptions and interruptions, but they're coming with purpose. They shake us up a bit. They help us to see a different way. You then have the rune of ice and Berkana. Berkana is the rune of growth, This is a new phase of life. Pause. If there's a disruption, rather than lovely Cancers trying to sort of fix it, surrender to the disruption. And I know it's really difficult, but I would say trust. See if you can try and trust that the outcome is being orchestrated for you. It does feel like a month where something comes to a head, and then there's a period of pause while you evaluate, and while you're in that pause, the outcome, the direction will be shown to you. It will become very, very apparent. And it's a very fruitful outcome. It really is. Your reading was so positive in terms of the outcome in the bigger readings. It was mind-blowingly positive. Really, really strong energy coming through for you, lovely Cancers. And this is absolutely affirming that bigger reading. So my beautiful Cancers, this is your reading for the next moon month, your Archangel Michael reading. It really does feel like an affirmation of the larger one. And I do think whatever, there's something is going on around you that you're not okay with, just to summarise. I think there will be some kind of a coming to a head of it in some way. This is a really strong message of sort of surrender to it. Press the pause button. Don't rush to fix it or try and maintain it or even try and hang on to it, because a new clear pathway is coming to you. You know, this is a really super favourable outcome. I mean, it really, really is. This is like a rubber stamp of this. It absolutely is. So Cancer, I'm saddened that something isn't feeling okay, and you know, I really, really am. Thrilled, however, that what you need to happen in order to move this forwards is going to happen with an incredibly favourable outcome for you. Beautiful Cancers, tons and tons of love. Thank you for being here on YouTube. It is an honour to read for you, and if you're interested in the larger readings, do check out Patreon. There are no commitments to it. You can sort of opt in or opt out and give as little or as much as you wish. And if you are on Patreon and you're watching this as well, I think this really rubber stamps the bigger reading, and thank you for being on Patreon. It really does help me to continue to put tons of free stuff into the world. Beautiful souls, happy Christmas, happy solstice, happy new year, and I look forward to seeing you in some other readings really, really soon. Lovely Leos, what does Archangel Michael wish to share with you for this moon month? I'm seeing this and those two, and those two actually. Wow, let's go for it, Leo. What are the cards showing for you? Okay, eternal love. Oh, lovely Leo. A favourable outcome. How interesting. This is your life's purpose. Forgive yourself, you've done nothing wrong. Have confidence. Lovely Leos. What an affirmation. Now, beautiful souls, I've done an in-depth big reading on Patreon. Patreon is a site that works on donations, and thank you all of you who are on Patreon. I do my bigger readings there because my Patreon, lovely Patreon community who make those donations, and you can give as little or as much as you wish, that funds the library that I run. It's a completely free resource for anyone that needs it. It's all about emotions and psychology. And so as a way of saying thank you to my Patreon folk, I do my bigger readings over there. This is very much a rubber stamp of the bigger reading. Now, there is something, probably someone, a connection with someone around you, Leo. This is what is coming through in the bigger reading as well. And there is a really, there's a really big potential right in front of you, or right around you right now. Now, this could be a friendship, it could be an intimate relationship, it could be, but it's a partnership of some sort, of connection with someone. And this is really, really saying to you, 1000%, this is really good. You're on the right path. And look at the way Archangel Michael is just saying, you're on the right path. Have confidence. Admit how you feel. I think part of the challenge for you lovely Leos is almost acknowledging to yourself how you really feel about this connection. It could be a friendship. And I think there's anxiety around getting it wrong again here. This is what I'm seeing, lovely Leo. But it just feels as though this is dominating your moon month. It's a connection to someone. Now there's a favourable outcome, and there's actually work to do. There's a higher purpose to this connection. There's work to do together. Even if it is an intimate relationship, there is work to do together. Maybe you will become one of those incredibly inspirational couples that other people aspire to be like. Or if it's a working alliance, then you can come together with purpose, a shared purpose. Maybe you just support one another in a way that you can fulfill your own highest purpose, both of you. I do feel there's a looking back in some way that's holding you back, a looking back at the past. But please forgive yourself. You haven't done anything wrong. This is so clear. This is truly, truly a path that is worthy of following, a connection that's worthy of following, beautiful Leo. There's an element here of really just allow yourself to, it's almost like allow yourself to have what you would like, to know that this is real. You have the rune of ice. You have the blank rune. This is a space of possibility. Okay, you've got the rune of the spiritual warrior. You have the rune of breakthrough. Wow, Degas. And then you have the rune of protection. Lovely. Okay. I think maybe for some of you, this is quite new. If it's an existing relationship and you're thinking of rekindling it, it's probably been feeling a bit stuck and you've been debating whether to move it forwards, whether it's worth persevering with or remaining in it, whether that's friendship, whatever that may be. But this is really loaded with potential. The blank rune is like a space of infinite potential. And the rune of the spiritual warrior, it's very decisive. It's suggesting that you do actually take some form of action to move this forward. It's like it's really saying it's safe to reach out. If you feel you've done something wrong in the past, or you've experienced rejection, or a working alliance that went wrong, or a friendship where you were betrayed in some way, this is really saying, look, this is not going to happen with this connection. You're on the right path. Acknowledge to yourself how you feel. Don't be in any way defensive, really. It's understandable, isn't it? But have confidence in this. And have confidence in your feelings and your entitlement to have what you desire. I feel you're going to be protected here. Really, really protected. This whole potential movement forwards will be, because there's actually a bigger picture, there's a bigger purpose to this. This feels very, like a destiny kind of connection. Lovely Leos, everything in your reading is really here to validate and acknowledge that this connection with a particular person in some aspect of your life is really, really a favourable and good connection. This is trying to inspire you to have the confidence to move forwards, to overcome any fears that you have, and to really, really acknowledge, your reading is really acknowledging that this is a worthy connection and it is worthy of investment and of taking it forwards. It really is. It's got, just doesn't feel like there's an ounce of negativity in it. Really, really interesting. The bigger reading was mind-blowingly fascinating. It really was, lovely Leos. This does feel as if it's rubber stamping it, but really acknowledging to you, to acknowledge how you feel. Take an ownership of what you desire and go for it, lovely Leo. Beautiful souls, thank you for being here on YouTube. It is such a privilege to read for you. And if you do want to check out the bigger readings on Patreon, you are very welcome to join us over there. Lovely Leos, happy Christmas, happy solstice, happy New Year's. This is amazing because the astrology of January, we're moving into January. This moon month takes us in from the end of December into January. And you know, January is setting the pace for the coming year. And this is so mind-blowingly wonderful as an opportunity for 2024 for you. So, you know, here it is. I am sending you all the love in the world, beautiful Leos. Tons and tons of love. Hey, lovely Virgos. Oh, what is coming through for you for this moon month? Wow, entering a new year, a new space of possibility. I'm seeing these two and these two. I'm feeling the one on the base as well. Let's have a look at these cards for you. Beautiful, lovely Virgos. You have positive thoughts, create positive results. Admit the truth and act accordingly, or admit the truth to yourself and act accordingly. Okay, so there's agency around you. Write about your thoughts and your feelings. Explore your options. Spend more time outdoors and focus upon divine and perfect health. Okay. Now, my lovely Virgos, I have done a bigger reading on Patreon, and for anyone that wants to check it out, that my bigger readings are there. My all zodiac sign readings are on another platform because my Patreon folk do make contributions ongoing that fund my free library and all kinds of stuff. So as a thank you to those people, that's where I place my my large readings. What I'm seeing in your reading, and having done that larger one as well, which I will draw on a little here as well for you, there's a kind of a space of a turning point around you. Explore your options. I feel you're being invited. I'm going to draw another card here actually. I feel you are being invited to really evaluate something, my lovely Virgos. There's a circumstance or a situation around you. You may find journaling is quite helpful to you at this moment, but actually just slowing down. It's interesting sometimes, and indeed some readings are all about go for it, get out your own way and go for it. Ooh, romance angels are helping you. But other readings, and yours very specifically, is really saying slow down. Think about your options. Look at the choices you have around you. Now, if there's been any difficulty in relationship around you, there is guidance and assistance here. Write about your thoughts and feelings. I feel like you're needing to take an ownership of something here. Admit the truth to yourself and act accordingly. It's like taking charge, having agency, taking charge of your choices here, but also taking your time to think about what they are, or to think about what you want and what you desire, what you want to manifest. Now, the energy actually for January, as we move into January, honestly, beautiful Virgos, the energy is all about sort of setting the pace, really. It's like January sets the pace for 2024, the energy. So whatever you lean into in January, whatever you're focusing on, it's going to kind of, I think, filter through the entire year of 2024 and begin to manifest for you. So holding that positivity, really acknowledging where you are right now and where you want to go, exploring your options, thinking about, what would be your biggest dream, lovely Virgos? I feel this is sort of almost inviting you to do a vision board in order to get your focus in alignment with what you desire, but do a vision board I want to say with peacefulness, rather than in a hurry. It feels like this is a time to sort of explore. Yeah, that's the right word. Like a period of time to be exploring your opportunities and your potential yeah, the potential of the coming year. Let's draw runes for you. We have the rune of harvest, Jira. We have Kano, the rune of openings, lovely. And we have the rune of breakthrough. How fascinating. So the rune of harvest actually speaks sometimes of a period of a year. Literally, this is actually an invitation to look at the coming year. Think, what do you want to achieve in the coming year? What do you want your life to look like at the end of this year, Virgo? How fascinating. It's a really clear message coming through here for you, my lovely Virgos. What shape do you want your world to look like by the end of 2024? I almost feel like they're inviting you and encouraging you, and Archangel Michael is indeed doing this, to visualize where you want to be. It's like doing a vision board, but a vision board for 1 year, a vision board for the year of 2024. Where do you want to be at the end of it? What do you want? What harvest do you want to bring in? If it's a relationship, then romance angels are helping you. But we're seeing this sort of, if you get focused, then the way will become clear. Kano, the rune of openings, carries a lot of power. This is a rune of great power, and it opens a doorway. It gives you clear direction. And this is the breakthrough moment. This can sometimes also suggest a 180-degree turn. You might actually find that you do there is a radical turnaround in where you wish to be going. If you had a vision board about something, lovely Virgos, or you had an idea of where you were going, and this does tie into your bigger reading where we were seeing the completion of something coming to an end, that there's an opportunity here for a kind of the miracle of a new beginning. But I think you have to get yourself quite clear about what you want, and then it's as if the universe can then respond to you. How interesting that we have the rune of flow and partnership. With romance angels helping you. Now, obviously, in any general reading, the messages that come through will, some will apply to you, some won't. There's a general flavour. But for any of you who are looking for looking for love, looking for a relationship, or trying to repair a relationship, even move it on to the next stage, we are seeing a lot of support given to you. So that might be something you focus on your vision board for the coming year. I feel that things are going to flow forwards for you. It's as if you are being asked literally to create the picture of where you want to be. If you're not passionate about vision boards, write about your thoughts and feelings. Do some journaling, just exploring your options, because you're at this really interesting turning point where I think some of you maybe aren't in the most positive state of mind. And this is inviting you to really hold that positivity. Some of you are not in the most positive state of mind. And in a way, to invest in the future, to put that foundation stone down now, really ideally we want a very positive mindset, because that energetically sets the pace for the year. What your reading is suggesting is that if you actually get focused on where you wish to be going in the coming year, kind of the doorways will open for you. The pathways will be shown. You may find they come in an unusual direction, and this will connect with the Mercury retrograde energy that often brings disruptions, but actually with purpose, because we get to see things that we wouldn't otherwise have seen. So I think there is a breakthrough moment around for you. And with the rune of flow, I think you're going to see things start to flow forwards. And I do think any relationship connections can also be moved forwards. If you're looking for new love, then love can come in. This won't be relevant to all of you, but it will be to some. My lovely Virgos, I think this is a very reflective, moon month of possibility, but it's like manifesting from the inside out. That's what we're really seeing here. So beautiful Virgos, I am sending you the biggest hug, all the love in the world. Thank you so much for being here and checking out these readings and the moon month overview as well, which for me is always incredibly exciting to share that energy with you. And if you are interested in the bigger readings, they are available on Patreon should you wish to do so. You're very welcome to join us over there. Beautiful souls, tons of love. Happy Christmas. happy solstice, happy New Year's, and I will be posting loads of readings in between then, so do check out my readings as soon as they're uploaded if you wish to do so. Tons and tons of love to you, Virgo. Hey, beautiful Libra, welcome to your reading. This is taking us into 2024, a new year. Happy Christmas, happy New Year, happy solstice, soon to come up. Now, what does Archangel Michael wish to show you? See, I'm seeing this and this, and also just that one in there too. We'll draw those. We can always draw more, and we'll draw runes as well. What are we being shown? Your children are watched over by angels. This situation is already resolved. Okay. Your home is protected by angels. Detach from the situation. Okay. Focus upon divine and perfect health. Lean on God and the angels for support. This is really interesting, my lovely Libras, because I have already done my bigger readings on Patreon. And Patreon is a platform that works on donations, and thank you, Patreon people, if you're watching this too. Your donations do help me to maintain the library that I have, the free library, and keep it as a free resource, as well as other free stuff. So that's why I do my big readings over there, as a way of saying thank you to my Patreon people. But this has got exactly the same flavour as the bigger reading had right at the beginning, which is that there's something that is almost bothering you, or something that is, it's actually already sorted, but it's something that you could be drawn into. Something that might make you feel cross or angry, or and you're being asked here to detach, not to be drawn in. Now, I'm very conscious that this reading is coming at a time where we have Christmas and New Year's, and at Christmas time we actually spend time with our families. These are the families we're born to often, rather than those that we choose, and sometimes, well, most of the time it's a bit of both, I guess. But the point is, this is sort of saying that there is something going on around you that is potentially, you feel a little bit drawn into it or tangled in it in some way, shape or form. Now, ultimately, this is kind of basically saying, don't worry. This is sorted. Maybe this could involve your children, or you could be the child. This could be your parents. This could be your inner child. In fact, that resonates, I think, with the bigger reading, where I felt there was a process of healing taking place, actually. A process of healing. And almost like forgiveness, not forgiving something that was wrong, as in, you know, we're not acknowledging if something was wrong, it was wrong. It doesn't mean that we acknowledge that something that was wrong was okay, but when we kind of find forgiveness, it means we let it go, so it's not clinging to you anymore. And I'm sort of seeing Archangel Michael cutting something with his sword here. We have the prayer, Archangel Michael, I ask you to use your flaming sword to cut any attachment to fear or drama, so I may be centered in the knowingness that peace is everywhere within me and this situation. There's something you're needing to attend to. There could be a button press to do with your inner child. The situation is actually sorted. I'm going to draw a couple more cards for you, my lovelies. Lovely Libras. May we have more cards, more information. So the person you're asking about is trustworthy. Positive thoughts create positive results. How interesting. Now I'm feeling the shift in energy that was there in the bigger reading. How lovely. We'll draw runes as well in just a second. I do think that there is a vulnerability. That's the right word that's coming through here. I think something is happening that's leaving you feeling vulnerable. It's actually really, really positive. I think it may be about, and I think it connects to trust and self-esteem and self-worth. Lovely Libra. And I think in a way what you're being asked to detach from is those elements within you that hold you back, that sort of make you feel as though you can't have what you desire, you can't have what you want. That somehow if you allow yourself to have something, it'll go wrong. You know, that sort of catastrophizing kind of energy. You know that there are certain emotions that are connected to certain thinking patterns, and that very specifically, actually, that's really fascinating if you look into emotions and things. I wrote a book about this, so if you're having any trouble with emotions, check out my free library, which, thank you Patreon people, is very much funded by you, and also check out my book Mindfulness Meets Emotional Awareness, because I've taken them, you know, our most challenging emotions, and really talked you through the higher vibrational resonance of them and the lower vibrational resonance, and exercises to shift those patterns. But you'll find in that book I have identified certain thinking patterns, because there are thinking patterns connected to certain emotions. If you are fearful, it tends to generate thinking patterns where we catastrophize, we imagine the worst, and then the more that you imagine the worst, the more fear it generates, and it's like this vicious cycle. And disappointment is an interesting one. Disappointment is actually it's really, really good information. If somebody disappoints you, then you want to put the brakes on and really evaluate. But disappointment can really set us onto a thinking pattern, the kind of thinking patterns where it's kind of like, you know, all the good ones are taken, it'll never happen to me, or it always goes wrong for me. And we habituate, I'm trying to think. I want to say habituate, but I don't think it's a word. But you know what I mean? It's like habitual thinking anyway, a pattern that basically reinforces the perspective that started it in the first place. It generates more disappointment. So these are the kind of thinking patterns, and what I'm seeing here is sort of something, maybe some thinking patterns and some emotions are heightened here. But we're being told the situation is resolved. The person you're asking about, so there's somebody you're asking about. This is the shift, because I feel there's something very positive coming into your world, but it's almost as though it triggers some internal element of self-doubt. Now the situation is already sorted. There may even be something going on around you that heightens those anxieties, takes you back down that road again. Let's draw some runes. We have the Breakthrough rune, we have the rune of initiation, Perth, and Hagelas, disruption. Oh, I'm liking your runes. Okay, we have Gateway, we have Thurizaz, Gibo partnership. What else do we have? Oh, we have the Spiritual Warrior. Lovely, right. Lovely Libra, you need to take action. There is a real opportunity around you. And I think it comes in the shape or form of something that triggers your insecurities. Now, review them, evaluate them. There is a rite of passage available to you to literally move away from something. But you're going to need to be decisive, discerning, cut yourself away from drama. If there's drama and disruption going on in your life, you know, rather than getting tangled in it and thinking, you know, when we go over and over and over something, and we get easily, or I certainly do anyway, we can easily get tangled in those repetitive thinking patterns. Lovely Libra, there's an opportunity here for you. So there's some kind of a shift that is happening here. You're going to need to take action, but in order to take the action that you desire, you've got to cut through those thinking patterns and really not move back into them. Focus upon divine and perfect health. And again, sometimes with this card I feel that we are, when something gets us down, it's when you kind of, you know, hit the wine and the chocolates kind of zone, really, or whatever that is for you. It's that point where again we sort of lose track of ourselves because we don't feel okay. Our buttons are being pressed. There's definitely something here around buttons being pressed, maybe being a bit fearful or being a bit anxious or feeling that something won't work out. It's got this underlying energy around it, but that's actually connected to your past perspectives. It's not current. And that's what we're being shown here, lovely Libra. Trust that Archangel Michael will help you to detach from the situation, step away. The situation is already sorted. There is something really positive coming in. For some reason, it's really raising your anxieties or pressing your buttons. Yeah, very interesting. And family is coming through here as well. I don't know whether that is just because that's really where a lot of our patterns originate from, really. But I'm hearing something of family around for you. But something really positive is coming in here for you, and you know, you will need to be decisive and take action. Part of the decisiveness is really cutting through any ties to any inner belief systems that you have that say you can't have it. And I think they kind of are tapped into, I think this is quite likely to be your inner child, but if you have children, they could be pressing your buttons about something you want to do rather than something they want to do. It's got that sort of flavour around it. I have a lovely thing, I will voice it actually, a lovely story, just a reminder of two of my children. I have twins, among others, and when my twins first went to playgroup, and they were very, very tiny, and obviously going to playgroup, and the playgroup leader actually said to me, "Oh, are you doing anything nice this morning?" And I sort of said, "Oh, I'm just off to do a bit of shopping," or whatever I was going to do. And their mouths just dropped open, and in unison, in absolute horror, they both said, "You mean you don't go home and wait for us?" It had never occurred to them in their little world that actually there was any kind of life beyond themselves. I mean, as is completely appropriate for little children, and that's how it should be. But I've never forgotten it, because I sort of always have a feeling that maybe there is some opposition around you to something you really want. And part of the opposition could come from within you, with those repetitive thoughts that come from childhood, where you grew up possibly in a world where you couldn't have things, or you didn't feel safe, but you could also have people around you, either family or friends or something that taps into that makes you feel you can't have it. Either way, lovely Libra, take action, cut through the cords to anything that is stopping you from moving forwards in something that you do desire, and yeah, ask Archangel Michael for help, because the help is definitely here and available for you. Lovely Libra, happy Christmas, happy New Year, happy solstice. Thank you for joining me here. If you're interested in the bigger readings, they are available on Patreon, and you can check us out if you wish to. There's no obligation to remain. You can literally test the waters and come and go as you please. But beautiful souls, thank you all, and have a wonderful festive period. Libra, you're going to be taking action. I'm seeing this as being a really positive thing for you. Tons and tons and tons of love, beautiful Libras. And I look forward to seeing you for some other readings. I'll still be posting readings throughout. Although I'm taking a break over Christmas, I will be posting my Sunday readings and a few others as well. So do keep a lookout for those. Tons and tons of love. Hey Scorpio, let's have a look at your Archangel Michael cards, your Archangel Michael reading for the coming moon month, which takes us into 2024. I am seeing this card, this one here, and that one there as well. We can always draw more for you if we need them. Now, romance angels are helping you. Ask Archangel Michael to help you with this situation. You created this situation and you have the power to change it. A favourable outcome. Lean on God and the angels for support. Detach from the situation. I am going to draw at least one more card for you. May we have, yes, that one. That's your card. I knew there was one more. Sense of humour. Okay, this is lovely. This is really, really lovely. Now, lovely Scorpios, I've already done the bigger readings that I do, the big all zodiac sign readings on Patreon. Patreon is a site that works on donations, and I do my readings over there as a thank you to my Patreon people, because their donations actually do assist me in maintaining my free online library and putting so much free stuff into the world. So it's my way of saying thank you. But I am very conscious of elements of that reading showing up here for you in this reading, which is not surprising. Now, romance angels are helping you. So this is a general reading. So what I'm about to say will apply to some, but not all. I think you need to take from this the bits that resonate with you. For those of you that are looking for love, there is the potential for an opportunity to come into your world, probably unexpectedly, okay? Now, ask Archangel Michael to help you with this situation. You have created this situation. You have the power to change it, and we have a favourable outcome. I think there's something in your reading that's about the way you navigate something here. The choices that you make, the choices and the decisions that you make. Now, back to romance angels. We're entering a moon month where there is a Mercury retrograde period. A Mercury in retrograde means that things go astray and we get taken down different routes unexpectedly. I think if you're looking for love, I think it might come from an unexpected direction. Okay, so I'm going to just voice that as a message for some of you, although not all. Now, what we're seeing here is a situation that you have the power to shift and change. I think there's agency for you here to create a favourable outcome, but I also think you might not see it. Detach from the situation. Sometimes we can't see the woods for the trees. What came through in the bigger reading, and I will voice it because I think it connects into this one, was an opportunity being given to you, but it was arriving in a sort of an unexpected way, and there was this feeling of, you know, in a very basic way, if you were to accept an invitation, then you could have a chance meeting, but if you just stayed at home, then you wouldn't. It's got that flavour of you've got to be in it to win it. You've kind of got to be in the right place at the right time. And this, I think, is speaking of exactly this. I think there's something you want. Now, for some, it could be to do with love. For others, it's just something you would love, something you really desire. And I think there's an opportunity for you to almost like open yourself to a space of possibility. And I don't know that it's going to run smoothly, okay, but I don't mean in a negative way. It might just be one of those times when, you know, you set off on a journey and everything goes horribly wrong along the way, and you just think this is bonkers, this is not working. And then, but actually you pull over, I don't know, pop in somewhere for a coffee because you're just getting to the point where you just think, I'm going nowhere. And you walk in there and you end up having a conversation, sitting on a table with somebody who gives you that lucky break, or turns out to be the love of your life, or introduces you to someone who's the love of your life, or something happens. It's like that sort of domino effect, where you've got to push the first domino. So you have to be in it to win it, but you've sort of got to be open to being flexible and handling the potential for things not to run smoothly, in the knowledge that something really fabulous is coming out of that situation. A favourable outcome is coming, not getting tangled in the emotionality of it. It's like setting forth, isn't it? And there's roadworks, and you know you're now going to be late, and we can get so frustrated. But rather than being frustrated, these readings are asking you to really laugh about it, because and recognize that actually there'll be a delay. The delay is coming with purpose, and this is the high vibration of the Mercury retrograde energy as well. And we are looking at a very positive, energetically, a very positive moon month as well. And we're also looking at moving into January, where there is a real opportunity in January to sort of establish the foundation for the entire year. So there's something about leaning into that space of openness to accept change, flexibility, be flexible in things. You have the power to change it. It's not what we do, it's not what happens to us, it's what we do with what happens to us. That's what is coming through. We can laugh about it, we can embrace it and think, well, this is happening with purpose, or we can go down a rabbit hole and give ourselves a really hard time and get pissed off and unhappy and kind of bring down the energy. That's what we're seeing, Scorpio. Let's draw your runes. We have the rune of the self. We have the rune of gateway, yes, and we have the rune of possessions, nourishment, Fehu. Now, This is really interesting. Absolutely. Don't look inwards. Look outwards. This is really interesting. Sometimes we really are asked just to stop, take time out, hibernate, retreat. Yours is the opposite. Your reading, Scorpio, is about literally being open and flexible and available to whatever. It literally is going with the flow and being open to whatever comes your way, because something really favourable is coming to you. Fehu, the rune of nourishment, possessions. This is ambition satisfied. This is something you desire. And it's like a pathway opens for you. It's like an invitation. Look at this person, Archangel Michael here, this depiction of him opening his arms. You know, detach from the situation, laugh about it, come on in. There's something exciting happening here. There is a gateway to something you want. A doorway will be opened, I think. That's what we're seeing here, lovely Scorpios. But you need to be flexible. Rather than looking inwards and getting introspective, this is a time to laugh and get out there and embrace all sorts of things, even if they're not necessarily your normal sort of bag, as it were. Be discerning of, as always, of course, we should always be discerning, but you definitely have an opportunity to acquire something or have a gateway opened to something that you really desire, and you're the one that has to step through that gateway or be available to step through it, or even be available to see it as it's presented to you. Beautiful Scorpios, this is your reading. Thank you so much for joining me. Beautiful souls, do enjoy the moon month update. It's really, really interesting this month as well. Such a lot of real positivity. You're welcome to check out the bigger readings on Patreon if you wish. Thank you all of you who are on Patreon. It is a blessing to read for you. Super souls, have an amazing Christmas, have an amazing New Year, have an amazing solstice. I will still be posting readings, although I am taking a break between Christmas and New Year. I will still be posting readings, so keep an eye out for those as well. And tons and tons and tons of love. I can't believe we're entering 2024. Beautiful Scorpios. See you really soon for another reading. Hey Saggies, let's see what Archangel Michael wishes to voice with you today about your moon month. You have positive thoughts create positive results. You have self-respect. How heavenly. Eternal love and innocence. This is so interesting. Now, my beautiful souls, I've already done my big all zodiac sign readings on Patreon. I was really compelled to dive straight into them and to do Archangel Michael readings for each sign with this moon month video. So I do want to say, oh, happy birthday, by the way, Saggies. This is your new moon. I do want to say this really does look to be an extraordinarily amazing moon month for you. And this is actually just confirming it. It's as if somehow positivity is just coming your way. Positivity, self-esteem, a return to innocence, a connectedness actually to eternal love. It did look as though love might be coming through for some of you if you are seeking love. But somehow I feel like stuff is just coming through to you in all directions. I feel that's it actually for these. I'll draw some runes as well for you. Okay, prayer will help this situation. This is your life purpose. Spend more time outdoors. I think you get an upgrade this month. I really, really do. I think you get an upgrade, and in more than one area of your life. I think you get an upgrade in love. I think you get an upgrade in your calling, your life purpose. I think you get an upgrade in your health. Something is coming in that you've prayed for. Both of these people are, or I say these people, these are depictions of Archangel Michael, but both in a position of prayer. I want to say, I'm feeling like I'm seeing here, and this is purely messages channeling through, that we are looking at some sort of divine timing here with this sword of light, as if now is the moment for something. And I do, excuse me, I think something you've been praying for is being offered to you, and it brings you, it boosts your self-esteem. It's something you can hold on to. to know that you can have this. Something really reignites your own purity, actually. Now, it could be love coming in for some of you. It could be that you really find your purpose, or you have a realization of the direction you want to go in, and it just feels so right. But something you have been praying for, perhaps more than one thing you have been praying for, is coming to you, my beautiful Saggies. Now, it is your birthday. Happy birthday. It is your new moon, and it is an incredibly positive new moon. So we can expect the energy to be really, really supporting you. Your first rune, you have the rune, well, look at this, Fehu. This is ambition satisfied. It's nourishment, it's possessions, it's the realization of stuff, the arrival of stuff in real terms. Rather than just something being something you're dreaming of, it's like something actualizes. That's the right word I'm looking for. I think it actualizes. It happens. It becomes real. You can physically hold it. You can physically feel it. When when you go outdoors, your physicality changes. You breathe in the fresh air. It's like stuff is coming in that feels like a breath of fresh air. And it's raising your vibration. It's holding you in a space of really, really beautiful light. And I do feel this is in more than one direction. If you've had any struggles in any kind of relationships, I think you're going to be in a very pure place, rising above that, or resolution will come. If you've had struggles financially, I think something comes to you. We have the rune of journey, Rado. I think this is happening fast. It's like an evolutionary journey, an upgrade. Now, sometimes if you think of like when we get a Windows upgrade, it can be to be fair, it can be a right pain in the butt. This is not. This is like the upgrade of a lifetime. I just think the energy is extraordinary for you. I really, really do. Because it's realizing, it's actualizing in real terms. Something you have been praying for is coming to you, Sagittarius. And maybe in more than one area of life. Kano, the rune of openings. Absolutely. It's opening the pathway, the direction. I think it's possibly in more than one area of your world. I think your relationships are going to be upgraded. If you are looking for love, I think that could be seriously coming for you. I think if you're trying to find your life's purpose, I think you're going to be shown the way. You'll find it. This is so positive, my beautiful Saggies. It really, really is. This is a beautiful reading for you. My beautiful souls, I would absolutely, if I were you, if I were a Saggy and I were you, I would be setting my new moon wishes and my new moon intentions on the new moon, if you're watching this before that happens, and really, really focus on your absolute priorities and get very clear about what you would like in quite an immediate way, because I just think stuff is coming. Saggies, this is an amazing month for you. It truly, truly is. Beautiful souls, you're welcome to check out my big readings on Patreon if you wish. Excuse me. The reason I put them on Patreon is because on Patreon it works on donations, and the donations from my beautiful, wonderful, really hugely appreciated Patreon community actually help me to continue to put so much free stuff into the world, to maintain my free library. And so, thank you for all of you who are on Patreon. Thank you so much. You are so appreciated. That's why I choose to put my all zodiac sign readings there, because it's my way of saying thank you for that ongoing support. It really is a super lovely community, and I usually do a tutorial pretty much every month as well over there on learning to read the cards and the runes, or some aspect of energy. So my beautiful souls, I just think you are having an amazing month. You're welcome to check out the readings on Patreon if you wish to. You can give as little or as much as you wish, and there's no tie-ins. You can come and go as you please. But my beautiful souls, this is absolutely amazing. I really think you are going to have an amazing month, like second to none. Lovely Saggies, tons and tons and tons of love. I feel so excited for you. Beautiful Capricorns, welcome. Let's see what Archangel Michael is telling us about the coming moon month for you. I am seeing these two cards and this one and that one. I love it when the cards are just so lively and just present themselves. I'm also seeing this one actually. Let's see what we have for you. Now this just flew out, so let's just check. Self-respect. This is about your self-esteem, your self-belief. Now I've already done the big readings actually on Patreon. Patreon is a different site. It's where I do my big readings because the Patreon community, Patreon works on donations, and those donations actually support and help me to maintain the free services that I offer, my library, for example. So my way of giving back to my Patreon people, thank you Patreon people, is to do those readings there. So I have kind of a bit of a heads up, basically, Capricorn, on you, really. God is in charge. This is interesting. Honor and trust your feelings. Energy healing work. Take time making this decision. Shield yourself. The person you're asking about is trustworthy. Okay, beautiful souls. So self-respect, self-esteem. Okay, there is actually an opportunity around you. I sort of feel like what's coming through with this card is divine timing. God is in charge. There's a bigger picture. And there is an opportunity around you that is potentially going to be very, very healing for you. Interestingly enough, a two-way situation, healing for you and healing for others as well. Now, take your time is speaking to me of going with the flow. You're actually feeling very sensitive about moving forwards with something, with someone. Your reading involves someone. Now, whether that's an intimate connection or whether it's a working person, but it connects to another person. And it did in your bigger reading as well. There's an opportunity to move something forwards, but I think you're reticent, but the reticence is to do with self-worth. This is what we're being shown here. It's not to be rushed, but it is also an opportunity. There's sensitivity going on here. The sensitivity for you, beautiful souls, I think is connected to history, where maybe you've grown up feeling, having an inner dialogue that didn't support you in having self-belief. So you don't feel that this opportunity, this person, is almost as if you don't feel worthy of them. There's also an element where some of you historically may have experienced challenges, and so you're reticent or fearful that you might not be good enough, or maybe even a little bit of imposter syndrome for some of you if you're approaching a new job and there's somebody around you and you're stepping up. Will they think I'm good enough? All those kinds of inner dialogues are sitting here, I think. Now, the actual scenario, this connection, which does involve the influence of somebody or connection to someone, maybe even a new group of people, it feels like there's divine timing. There's real potential in this. Because not only in a practical, pragmatic kind of way is the connection to this person really, really valuable for you in the long run, it is also actually very healing. If we go into any scenario or any situation and it feels like we're taking a risk, my lovely Capricorns, so if there's something around you that you feel like, do I take that risk? You're reticent, you're feeling really sensitive. If you take that risk, because I think you really want to. You want to trust your feelings, but at the same time you're thinking, but can I trust my feelings? It's this sort of almost like internal debate going on. But this is actually going to heal. When we enter something and we're taking a risk and it works out, it is a healing experience because it's giving us an opposite experience to the ones historically that didn't work out, that left us feeling a bit dented, or even as a starting point left us feeling as though we weren't worthy. And this is the energy around your reading. So shield yourself. take your time. This isn't about not doing something. It's about supporting yourself in doing it in a way that allows it to unfold organically, step by step, rather than rushing or being too prescribed. Actually, that came out in your bigger reading, being too prescribed about it, you know, wanting to almost like plan how this is going to work. If I take this step and this step and this step, it'll all fall into place, or trying to control the situation so it progresses in a way that makes you feel safe. And actually your reading is saying, look, it needs to grow organically. You know, God is in charge here. Let this unfold, but you can protect yourself and let it unfold steadily. Remind yourself that at every step of the way you have choices. You're not without agency in any way, shape or form. However, I sort of always feel I've got two separate sort of readings here, with the sort of the reticence, which connects to history, and then the future potential here, which is all about healing and learning to retrust yourself and your feelings, as well as trusting others. I feel trust has been dented in the past, historically. Let me look at this reading here. Let me just position the cards in a particular way. Can you see here, if I'm just going to take out the God is in charge card for one moment. We've got this kind of 3-card triangle, as it were, of reticence, of history. And then we have this sort of 3-card. It's like something gets turned around. And this is divine timing. God is in charge. There is something about the divine timing of a connection with someone that's leading you somewhere, or fixing you, or a situation. Now, whether the connection to someone, I feel like there's someone new, or maybe a relationship. It could even be your relationship to yourself. But there is something going on around you that brings you an opportunity to heal. And this is really valuable to you. Let's draw some runes for you, my lovely Capricorn. We have, yes, the rune of ice and the rune of protection. Yes, I think at the moment things have not been proceeding. Ice. It's like, can you let yourself thaw? Can you allow yourself to thaw and recognize that you are protected, and that you can actually take something organically, let it flow step by step without being in charge. You don't have to excessively control the situation. Just let it unfold. Can you allow yourself to have this? Is really what your reading is saying, my lovely Capricorn. Your next rune is the rune of signs. Signs, signals, synchronicities. All the signs are there. They're right in front of you. Honour and trust your feelings. Listen to your feelings, because they're actually guiding you. There's a difference between those feelings of excitement and desire versus those feelings of sort of fear, because these are telling you when you're with, let's say this was, going to use a hypothetical situation. It's a general reading, so you need to take this as it comes. But let's say your situation involved a person. And whenever you're with them, it's like the chemistry is there, the signs are there, the signals are there, and you really want to honour and trust your feelings. But then there are these other feelings that are actually much more about a connection to the past. They're not present, they're not real, they're history. And there's a difference with emotions between the emotions that are still within us, that are fear-based actually ultimately because of the past, as opposed to those immediate present emotions that are actually like a guidance system. The person you're asking about is trustworthy. 2 more runes coming out for you. Hagelas and partnership. This is life-changing actually. This relationship is life-changing. This came out in the first reading. Not the same rune, but the partnership. This connection is very life-changing. It will turn your world upside down, but actually in the best possible way. There's so much healing potential. You know, whatever comes from this, the stepping into it rather than stepping away. It's like choosing a future rather than dwelling in the past, my beautiful Capricorns. And this is really the essence of your reading for this moon month. Beautiful souls, you're really welcome to join me on Patreon if you wish to check out the deeper dive, the bigger reading. But in essence, this is really reinforcing what was said completely, actually. So beautiful souls, thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful solstice, Christmas, New Year. This is taking us into January 2024. Can't believe we are there already. Beautiful Capricorns, thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and all the things that you do, to your comments, to help really to help the channel here. So thank you so much, all of you. And for those who are on Patreon, thank you. Your contributions are really appreciated. It really does support me in putting a ton of free stuff and free resources into the world, including emotional stuff. Capricorn's my library, actually, my free online library, which is really funded very largely through Patreon, is all about emotions and psychology, and will help you if you are struggling with any emotions, help you to separate, as will my book Mindfulness, from Mindfulness Meets Emotional Awareness. It will help you to learn the language of your emotions, really. Beautiful souls, tons and tons of love. I will be taking a break over Christmas and New Year, but I will also still be posting readings here on YouTube, and the big overview of 2024 and various others. So do keep a lookout, subscribe, press the little bell icon if you want to get notification as soon as I post anything. Capricorn, tons of love. Hey, lovely Aquariuses, let's look at your Archangel Michael cards for this moon month. Let's see what is happening for my beautiful Aquariuses. May we please have messages and guidance from Archangel Michael. I'm actually seeing these two, or these three, and also that one. We have, my lovely Aquariuses, admit the truth and to yourself and act accordingly. Focus upon divine and perfect health. Romance angels are helping you. Self-respect. Okay, how very interesting. Admit the truth. This is your first card. This is really interesting. I have already done the big readings that I do for all zodiac signs on Patreon, and so I'm aware that I sort of have that energy of that reading around me already for you, Aquarius. And yes, shield yourself, take time making this decision, spend more time, I will tell you what I was about to say in a moment, spend more time outdoors and decide to be happy now. So I'm going to draw a little bit on that bigger reading because that energy is around. I think that there is something that you're potentially going to act upon, that you might act a bit rashly or try to move it forwards or try to walk away or try to, and I think that actually there's something to go back to. This has got the flavour, with romance angels are helping you, of that kind of feeling of perhaps feeling very sensitive about something, or someone, and then thinking, do you know what, I'm going to walk away from this, it's not working. And really, your perception is sort of, it's like you're denying your own feelings. You're not letting yourself know how you really feel. Your bigger reading, I saw you going back to something, returning to something that wasn't, or you didn't think would work, you go back to it. And there's opportunity for something to be actually rather lovely, but take your time. It's kind of like there's a hiccup. Now, we are in a Mercury retrograde period during this moon month, and so we do get delays and hiccups. And I think what we're seeing here is a lot of help here for you. Now, if you have any health issues and you feel your world is being slowed down by ill health, or you feel your love life isn't moving forwards, or you're struggling with low self-esteem, or you're feeling particularly sensitive and a bit prickly, it means that whatever happens, you're sort of feeling the impact of it in a very intense way. And your reading, Archangel Michael, is sort of suggesting that you slow it down. Don't kind of make rash decisions or try to rush forward impulsively with anything. There's a kind of a need to own how you feel here. And I do think sometimes if we are very sensitive, we don't always own our own feelings. we rush at something, or we can dismiss something as not being viable, or we can decide that we can't do it, or we wouldn't be any good at it, or that person won't like me, or, you know, those kind of inner messages. And actually, everything in your reading here is suggesting that if you take your time, slow yourself down and get really anchored in a much more positive outlook, that something is going to move forwards for you. Let's draw some runes for you as well. We have, the rune of breakthrough. The breakthrough will come. The breakthrough moment will come. We have the gateway as well. Beautiful. I mean, this literally is. It's like stepping through a doorway, really. How interesting. In the bigger reading, there was literally a card where there were doorways. There were doorways in your bigger reading. So I think that what we're being shown here is there was a doorway that you thought had closed. Now, whether it was a project and you put it down, you didn't believe in it, whether it was a person or a situation, there's something that you didn't believe, you've put it down, you closed the door to it, or you thought the door was closed to it. The door is opening. Kano, the rune of openings. Yes, the door is opening. You couldn't write it, could you? Something that you thought the gateway was closed, you thought the pathway was closed, and it's not. So you can return to it. This could be picking up something that you started a while ago, and then you got a bit down about it with your self-worth, your self-respect. Perhaps you just thought this isn't going to work out. You put it down, you walked away. There's something that you come back to. This rune, sometimes the breakthrough runes, it actually speaks of like doing a 180-degree turn. Well, a 180-degree turn is like turning right the way around. Something's coming a full circle. I think for some of you, something may even come back into your life, actually. Whether it's something you put down, or someone or something returning into your life that you didn't think, you thought that doorway was closed, but I think something's coming back. We're going a full circle. There's a return to something. How fascinating. I love the way your reading is really... I mean, the runes are just really speaking of exactly this. A doorway you thought was closed, it's actually going to reopen for you. There is an opportunity. Or maybe it was never closed and it was just your perception. Admit how you really feel or what you really want. Give yourself an anchor point and take time. Take some time to really think about this return to something, this choice, this option. Really think about it, because there's this space of possibility for you to proceed here, but it's like proceeding after contemplation rather than being reactive. Sort of almost have that sort of imagery around as well of, you know, if you had a falling out with somebody and you think, well, that door's closed, and then you set forth and you know, you move forwards and you think you're going in a different direction, and then something stops you in your tracks and you think, oh, you know, I was on my way elsewhere, but you know, I'll have to go back, and just go back and think about it. And then you go back and think about it, you bump into the person that you thought you'd had a falling out with, and they come up and say, I'm so sorry, I really wish we hadn't done that. There's a return to something. There's an opening here for you, and it has very, very, very beneficial, happy results for whatever the situation is. It could be a book you put down and dismissed that it would never, you thought it would never work, or you could never write the ending. Maybe you were procrastinating and you just shelved it. Come back to this project. It's going to re-find you. You might find you're given a sign or a signal or a synchronicity, or somehow it pops up and you think, oh, you know, there it is. Maybe I should have another look at it. And then you realise you now have the information you need to move forwards. So there's a revisiting or something returning to you, my lovely Aquariuses. So whatever this is within the context of your world, I think this is a very favourable month for you, but it may not feel like it, because I think there's a period within it where you're needing to sort of pause and take your time before arriving at that direction, before actually having the opportunity to attend to something, whatever that may be. So any blockages, any hiccups, they are definitely arriving with purpose for you, my beautiful Aquariuses, absolutely without a shadow of a doubt. Lovely Aquariuses, this is your reading. Thank you so much for joining me here, and do check out the moon month part of this video as well. Very interesting energy that we're sort of setting the pace as we move into January for the whole year, so very interesting in terms of what we do this moon month, and the direction it leads us to. If you are interested in checking out my bigger readings, they're over on Patreon, because Patreon is a site that works on donations, and my wonderful Patreon people, thank you all, those of you who are on Patreon, they make donations every month, and that helps my library, my free online library, to be maintained as a free resource. It you know, it's just a place that helps me to, that community helps me to put tons of free stuff into the world, and I'm so grateful. And so as a way of my giving back, that is where I put my all zodiac sign readings. So do check them out if they are of, you know, of interest to you. But there's plenty of information in this reading alone for you, my lovely Aquariuses. Tons of love, and I look forward to seeing you for another reading really soon. I will be taking a break over Christmas and New Year, but I will still be posting readings here on YouTube, so do check them out as and when they arrive. Tons and tons of love to you, Aquarius. Have an amazing Christmas, an amazing solstice, an amazing New Year's, and I will see you again really soon. My beautiful Pisces, welcome, my lovely souls, to your Archangel Michael reading for the coming moon month. Use your imagination and you'll see the answer. We have admit the truth to yourself and act accordingly. We have focus upon divine and perfect health and shield yourself. This is telling us that you are very sensitive. Now, I have already done my big all zodiac sign readings on Patreon. This is a different reading, but I am finding that these Archangel Michael readings are really rubber stamping what's been coming through in those bigger in-depth readings over on Patreon. So I will draw a little bit on those as well as I talk you through your cards, my lovely Pisces. You're very sensitive, my lovely Pisces. Now, there is something going on that you are having to step up into. And I think there is a danger that emotionally this could really get sort of like bring you down. We have, yes, explore your options. I'm actually seeing this card. Make a commitment. This is your life's purpose. That's a very interesting card. And you are guarded and protected. My lovely Pisces, what I will draw from the bigger reading is to do with, it was to do with family stuff, actually, and things going on around you. Now, and of you ultimately having to take a stand. Now, use your imagination, you'll see the answer. Admit the truth and act accordingly to yourself. You see, I think something that you're processing at this moment in time that maybe does connect to some sort of family issues or family patterns, or even those patterns of behaviour where you feel obliged to do something or to go along with something that someone wants, when actually you need to really be focusing on what's right for you. I feel part of your current life purpose is actually almost addressing those patterns. You're being guarded and protected. There is energy around you. I don't think it's your energy. What came through, and I'm seeing it here again with this shield yourself, guarded and protected, is that there's energy around you of people who maybe are really a bit low vibrational, they're very negative, they're a bit manipulative, or they're not really telling you the truth. And this is a real problem because it could really drag you down. Now, Archangel Michael is saying, look, if you use your imagination, you'll be able to navigate through this actually very successfully. You're literally going to be able to arrive at a point where you can really kind of explore your options and work out what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. You can kind of make a commitment not to be stuck in the middle of something. For example, if you've got more than one group of people where one side is voicing something off about the other side, you don't have to be stuck in the middle. Your life's purpose at the moment is connected in some way to developing really solid boundaries around situations with people who are maybe a bit manipulative, or, you know, and you're being called to kind of step up and take charge, not of anyone else, but of you. Working out what's right for you, explore your options, make a commitment to what is right for you. It's like, I almost feel I want to say to you, lovely Pisces, it's like, you know, maybe almost for the first time in your life, actually, just with great grace, saying, do you know, actually, this I'm not prepared to be stuck in the middle, or look, the way you're going about it doesn't work for me, I'm not prepared to do that. There's a real energy of holding something in a really strong way here, regardless of other people's, I don't know, other people's drama. That's what's really coming through here. You can see it. Acknowledge it. I think there are people around you you'd rather not, sometimes we'd rather not acknowledge that they're not really stepping up, or they're, you know, involved in their own drama. And you are being invited to just acknowledge the reality of the situation here. Acknowledge it. Own it in terms of what you can then do within that. What will you do? What won't you do? And then make a commitment to what is right for you, my lovely Pisces. Let's draw some runes for you. Your first two, yes, we have the rune of strength, Aries, and we have the rune of constraint. This is really sort of speaking to me about patience, and also about that kind of energy, you know, when there's a feeling of, it's kind of those scenarios where it's not what happens, it's what you do about what happens. You can't change everything, you can't alter the course of other people's journeys, but you can decide what you're going to do. You can press the pause button, you can recognise what you can do, you can recognise what you can't, and then go away and make a commitment. So this really is exploring your options and having the strength of your own convictions. Really not letting somebody else's energy get you down. This is really, really clear. Don't let somebody else's perspectives get you down. Work out what your options are, make a commitment, and then be prepared to follow through with that. And acknowledge, you know, actually people are people, you know, they're tangled in stuff. So maybe this is just one of those scenarios where, you know, unfortunately, people are seeing you perhaps rising up or doing well, and there's a sort of a kickback against it in some way. But you're guarded, you're protected, shield yourself. Don't be concerned about the restrictions that are placed on you by other people. This is about working out, acknowledge how it is, and then work out, these are other people's views, they're other people's perspectives. Work out what you can do rather than what you can't. Yes, and then it will move forwards. Now this was lovely in the bigger readings as well, because what we were seeing continually was a fabulous outcome. I feel if you can really stand your ground and be very clear about, it's almost like getting clear with the details. I feel with this rune that it asks us to cross the T's, dot the I's. It's almost as though if you're very, very, very clear and very boundaried about what you will do and what you won't do, then everyone knows where they stand, and they will then in turn respond to that. We were seeing a lot of reverence, a lot of respect for you, for literally being you and standing your ground, and for that clarity. Everything will move forwards. This is the bettering of any situation. Your reading is really asking you not to let any circumstances get you down, Pisces. I feel there are people around you who could kind of bring down your energy, sort of, what's that saying, isn't it? Pissing on your fireworks. That kind of saying, or, you know, stamping on your glory, or whatever it is. There's just an energy of people who maybe are reacting negatively to your joyousness or to your, you know, good experiences. But I think there's a big turnaround coming here actually this month, simply by you holding your boundaries and being very clear. There is a shift in the energy and a big turnaround, you know, happening there. So I think you are going to get the outcomes you want. I think it will be quite a busy month for you, my lovely Pisces, but busy in terms of your internal processing of what to do in response to things, rather than necessarily being directly active. There will be action. There will be action, but there's definitely a kind of a request from Spirit, from the universe, for you to sort of be diligent in your approach, and therefore the outcome bringing you a lot of respect from people, because they can see that you're doing what you can but not what you can't, and so there's a very, very favourable outcome for you. But I think I'm seeing a lot of internal processing as well as then taking actions accordingly. My lovely Pisces, I think this looks to be a very interesting moon month for you, and I do think part of your life's purpose at this moment in time, if we think of a purpose not just as that sort of almost like a career pathway type of calling, but your life's purpose as being those ages and stages of soul evolution and soul growth. Your soul growth at the moment is actually about standing up and sort of finding a way of saying with great grace, you know, look, actually I can do this but I can't do that, and of having those boundaries, and from that I think everything will then emerge in your favour. Lovely Pisces, this is your reading for the moon month. I wish to wish you a very happy and amazing solstice, and a happy and an amazing Christmas, and a happy and an amazing new year. If you are interested in the bigger readings that are much more in depth, you're very welcome to check them out on Patreon. I think, as I've probably mentioned, it is a site that works on donations, and because the donations by my wonderful Patreon family over there assist me in putting so much free stuff into the world, doing the readings over there is my way of giving back to them and my way of saying thank you, because it's very much those donations that make my free library available to anyone who wishes to use it at any time. So wonderful Pisces, have a beautiful moon month, and I am taking a little break over Christmas and New Year, but I'm still posting some readings, so do keep a check out for those. I'll be posting weekly readings with some picker cards in between, so although I'm taking a break from some of my work, not all of it, so keep an eye out for those readings. We will at some point be doing a big overview of 2024 as well, so do watch this space, and if you'd like to get notification of any of my readings as I post them, if you subscribe and press the little bell icon, they should come through to you. And I do hope you enjoy the moon month update, energy update as well, because it's a really, really interesting moon month. It's really setting the pace for the whole of the coming year of 2024, the way that we sit and move into January. So very, very exciting times. Beautiful souls, tons of love. This moon month begins with a new moon in Sagittarius, and the flow of energy is seriously super nice in every possible way. Now, a new moon in Sagittarius naturally invites you to surround your wishes and intentions with positivity, with determination and grace. And the overall astrodynamics are bringing a collaboration of energy that is primed to expand your desires and lift you into seriously high vibrational thoughts and feelings that bring hope and optimism, and really assisting you to find solutions. These energetics are also naturally enhancing any of your wishes that connect with your personal sense of freedom and the rights and freedoms of others, truth, liberty, justice, this kind of stuff. Wishes that are set at this time are also seriously perfect in bringing increased motivation and also the stamina to see something through. So this is seriously fab. Let me bring up the timings for you onto the screen now. Wherever you are on our beautiful planet, I can't put the times for every city in the world because we simply don't have space, but this should give you a reasonable sort of sample of places so you can work out the timings for yourself. And when you set your wishes and intentions, ideally you want to set them in the 8 hours following the exact time of the new moon. So hopefully these timings will assist. As the moon then moves from Sagittarius into Capricorn, On the 13th, we also actually have a 9-hour void of course period. A void of course period is when the moon is sitting in between two zodiac signs. So she's moving out of Sagittarius and then into Capricorn, but there's a space in between. This can actually feel quite liberating, to be honest. It can really feel quite exhilarating, as if the energy of the moon is available without any connection to any of the sort of personality traits of the signs. What I will also say though is, if you've got a lot going on and you're feeling a bit unanchored or a bit out at sea, a long void of course period can also kind of make you feel a bit wobbly. So just be conscious of this, because it's 9 hours long. And if you do have a lot going on, just make sure you get still, anchor yourself, and remember that this will pass very, very quickly. The moon then moves into her waxing crescent moon phase from December the 14th to the 18th, passing through Capricorn, Aquarius and into Pisces. On the 17th, when she moves from Aquarius into Pisces, we have another void of course period that's quite long. It's 8 hours. Now, the positivity of the new moon really does continue throughout this phase, and it brings a flow of excitement and a real buzz of anticipation. So truly jump on board with this and make the most of the harmonious planetary collaborations at this time. I mean, by all means, relax and enjoy, but also, as the lunar energy is building, choose to invest in productivity as well. You can chill out as much as you like, but this is a potentially very productive moon phase, so it would really pay you, I think, to use it. The moon reaches her first quarter position on December the 19th when she's in Pisces. Now, a first quarter moon naturally invites review, and the overall astrodynamics of the day are bringing the perfect conditions for evaluation, adjustments and transformations. If you find that your circumstances are causing you to have to consider some big changes and you're a bit wobbly about quite how best to approach this, then just simply notice and validate what needs to change, and then get yourself still and open yourself to receive further support as to how to proceed. The energy is absolutely primed to give you this information today. The moon then moves into her waxing gibbous phase, running from December the 20th to the 25th, passing through Aries, Taurus, Gemini and into Cancer. So we're covering the period of the solstice and right up to Christmas Day. Now, the overall flow of this moon phase feels very onwards and upwards, which in your manifestations is going to feel great if you yourself are feeling on top of the world and in a get-go place. Curiously enough though, even if you are personally feeling like you want to move at a more gentle and steady pace, the overall lunar influence does seem sufficiently steady enough to support you to stay on track regardless. There are pockets of stability that surround any kind of brief surges of what I would call heightened emotionality. As always, emotions do rise just before the full moon, so be alert to what you are shown during this period of time. Any illuminations are arriving with purpose. On December the 26th or the 27th, depending on where you are on our beautiful planet, we have a full moon in Cancer. Now, interestingly enough, we also have a void of course period on the 26th when the moon moves from Gemini into Cancer, and this is for 7 hours long. So this is kind of in the build up to the moon's fullest point. The overall astrodynamics today are really primed to support you in fixing problems through listening to your intuition and using your creative imagination. A full moon in Cancer will naturally invite you to become an observer of your life and to notice what you need to change and release so that you can nurture a strong internal foundation of self-esteem built on really true self-value and self-respect. So this is a moon that can illuminate pathways of healing and regeneration, making space for the new to emerge. Now, if you use your full moon illuminations and insights, you'll be able to see exactly what you need to do to build a bridge of steady growth, nurture, and kindness, actually, to carry you forwards into a new year of serious opportunity and possibilities. I'm going to just bring up the timings on the screen. A full moon is always quite intense, and a Cancer moon is always very emotional. So I think it's quite helpful to know this sort of pivotal moment in time, just so that you're aware of that potential for heightened emotionality. The moon then moves into her disseminating or waning gibbous phase, and this is running from December the 28th right through to January the 2nd, and she will pass through Cancer, Leo and Virgo. We also actually do have a 6-hour void of course period as the moon moves from Leo into Virgo, and this is on December the 31st, literally that turning point of the new year. Now, during this moon phase, we see both Jupiter and Mercury station direct and move forwards, providing a forward shift in the overall flow of energy. However, to be honest, the start of this period is a little bit intense. I think to make optimum use of this shift and flow dynamic, I would suggest adopting an ultra-mindful approach of patient observation until the 30th or the 31st, when the energy is literally shifting as we move into the new year. And this brings a day of significant potential actually for solutions to appear in completely unexpected ways. The lunar energy then flows nicely. However, as we approach the last quarter moon, the lunar influence intensifies again. So if anything shows up that isn't in flow or balance, just be sure to take note. This is actually really good information, and it is arriving with purpose. It's there to help you to course correct, to tweak in your direction, to see what you need to see. The moon reaches her last quarter position in Libra between January the 3rd and January the 4th. The influence of a last quarter moon naturally invites you to step up and walk your talk and be the change that you wish to see in the world. And this particular moon in harmonious Libra has a very distinctly karmic feel to it, as if the very essence of the lunar energy is not simply calling for balance, but asking to be recognized, seen and heard, followed by a clear action plan to bring about healing, both personally and globally. I actually think it's going to pay dividends to use this time to consciously address any imbalances within your own personal circumstances, because this will then radiate out into the world in a profoundly positive way and affect not just the energy around you immediately, but the overall collective energetic of humanity as we move into this profound new year of 2024. The moon then moves into her balsamic moon phase, or the waning crescent moon, and this is running from January the 5th right through to January the 10th, and she will pass through Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius and into Capricorn. Now, between the 9th and the 10th, when she moves from Sagittarius into Capricorn, we have a 7-hour void of course period. And even though the lunar flow of this period is gently diminishing because the moon is getting smaller, her energy is waning literally, this particular moon phase has a distinctly proactive flavour to it, asking you to take very solid and very real actions to move your manifestations forwards with purpose and with very clear intent. So if any challenges or discordant kind of influences show up, which could happen around the 8th and the 9th, then sit up and listen, because you may need to tweak your perspectives or make some adjustments. And then when you course correct, this will ensure your ongoing progress. Moon Magic Super Souls, I hope you've really enjoyed that energy update. It looks to be an incredible moon month really, and I hope you've also enjoyed the Archangel Michael readings, and they're kind of on point for you. Now, I think all that is left really for me to say is have an amazing Christmas and an amazing New Year. And thank you for being here so much. Thank you for your support of me. Also, I want to say your support of one another. You know, when I read the comments, you guys are amazing. And I guess, you know, as a community, I guess I want to finish on that note of reaching out really, because Christmas and the New Year is an amazing time. We have such a lot of fun and we have a really good time. But for some people, it's really tough actually. And this is a community that cares, and it really, really shows in your comments. So beautiful souls, have a wonderful time. Don't forget to hold light for those that are not having such an easy time of it, because there are many in the world for whom this will be quite a tough period. And I think we can all collectively hold that for others, and also reach out as and where we can within the immediacy of our own worlds. I'm sending you all the love in the world. Have an amazing solstice, an amazing Christmas, an amazing New Year. And I will see you soon for some other readings. And I'm going to take a little bit of a break between Christmas and New Year, but I'm still going to be posting some readings, and I've got some real treats in store for you. So keep a lookout for those. And if I'm not as responsive to your comments as I usually am, it is just because I'm chilling out with my family. But I am sending you so much love, and let us move into a new year and make it a significant one in every possible way. Tons of love to you all.